The history of the United States began long before 1776. The first people arrived in North America around 15,000 to 20,000 years ago by crossing a land bridge from Siberia to Alaska. Over thousands of years, indigenous peoples developed diverse cultures and civilizations across the continent. In 1492, Christopher Columbus reached the Americas, opening the way for European exploration and colonization. Spain was the first major European power to explore what is now the United States, establishing St. Augustine, Florida, in 1565, the oldest permanent European settlement in the country. England began colonizing North America in the early 1600s. Jamestown, Virginia, was founded in 1607 and became successful through tobacco farming. In 1620, the Pilgrims arrived on the Mayflower and established Plymouth Colony in Massachusetts. Over time, 13 British colonies developed along the Atlantic coast. By the mid-1700s, the colonies had grown rapidly. After the French and Indian War ended in 1763, Britain imposed new taxes on the colonies. Colonists objected because they had no representation in Parliament. Protests such as the Boston Tea Party increased tensions between Britain and the colonies. In 1775, fighting broke out at Lexington and Concord, beginning the American Revolution. On July 4, 1776, the colonies declared independence through the Declaration of Independence. Led by George Washington, American forces eventually defeated Britain. The Treaty of Paris in 1783 officially recognized the United States as an independent nation. After independence, the Constitution was adopted in 1788, creating the federal government. George Washington became the first president in 1789. During the early 1800s, the nation expanded westward through the Louisiana Purchase, the Lewis and Clark Expedition, and the acquisition of new territories. As the country expanded, disagreement over slavery grew. Northern states generally opposed slavery, while southern states depended on it for their agricultural economy. When Abraham Lincoln was elected president in 1860, several southern states left the Union and formed the Confederacy. The American Civil War began in 1861. After 4 years of brutal fighting, the Union defeated the Confederacy in 1865. Slavery was abolished through the 13th Amendment. Shortly after the war ended, President Lincoln was assassinated. Following the Civil War, the United States experienced rapid industrial growth. Railroads connected the country, factories expanded, and millions of immigrants arrived from Europe. The nation continued expanding westward, often at the expense of Native American tribes who were forced from their lands. By the early 1900s, the United States had become one of the world's largest industrial economies. It entered World War I in 1917 and helped the Allies achieve victory in 1918. The 1920s brought economic prosperity, but the stock market crashed in 1929, triggering the Great Depression. Millions lost jobs, and businesses failed. President Franklin D. Roosevelt introduced the New Deal to help the economy recover. In 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, bringing the United States into World War II. American forces fought in Europe and the Pacific. In 1945, atomic bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, leading to Japan's surrender and the end of the war. After World War II, the United States and the Soviet Union became rival superpowers in the Cold War. The U.S. fought in Korea and Vietnam and competed with the Soviets in the space race. In 1969, American astronauts landed on the Moon. At the same time, the civil rights movement challenged racial segregation and discrimination. Leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr. helped secure major legal victories, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, the United States emerged as the world's leading superpower. The September 11th attacks in 2001 led to wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and shaped American foreign policy for decades. Today, the United States is home to more than 340 million people and remains one of the world's most influential nations. Its history has been shaped by indigenous cultures, immigration, expansion, conflict, innovation, and the continuing pursuit of freedom and opportunity.